insurance column that you see here basically will let you know whether or not the patient has inputted adequate insurance information or they didn't or opted for private pay. Now, if the patient did input enough information for the staff member to be able to check the information, they can go ahead and check it within about 5 seconds, and it will come back and show you whether or not this insurance information is active or inactive. And if it is active, then you have the ability to view a roughly 2 to 3 page PDF of the patient's benefits and copays. Any questions up until this point?
So far, so good.
Okay, great. So when the patient comes in for their appointment time, a staff member can go ahead and log back into their system, move over to the scheduler, select that patient in the scheduler. They can go ahead and check that patient in. They can also set multiple future appointments for this patient as well as one follow-up appointment. If this patient didn't come in, you can select a no-show, and you can go ahead and send a reschedule request for this patient. Now, once the patient has been seen by the doctor, a couple of things can happen. With our managed referrals, let's say the patient needs to be referred to a specialty provider. The staff member can just go to this Manage Refer tab here, select from a chronological list of all of our patients, click on the Refer To icon. And here what you're seeing is the practice can choose from a list of preferred healthcare providers that they've inputted through the back end, so it makes it easy for them. They can indicate, which provider or specialty this patient needs to go to. If this provider does use registered patient, they can actually request an appointment on behalf of the patient before they even leave the doctor's office. Here you include diagnosis, any referring notes, when the patient needs to be seen. If this is a lab and or x-ray order, you can indicate that here, and you can upload any files you need for this provider to see, and then go ahead and refer that patient. Now, if you're in need to invite a new practice, whether a provider that you don't typically refer to or one that doesn't already use registered patient, you can choose this option here. Include the email that you need for this invitation to be sent to. And what that referring doctor is going to receive is an email notifying them that, this provider has referred a patient. Please create an account with registered patient before you can view the patient's referring information. So when they create an account with us, we give this referring provider a free trial to use our system. If at the end of that trial period, this practice doesn't want to continue using registered patient, we still allow for them to use a free referring manual, a free managed referral piece. So they can still receive information and referrals from other providers as well as they can refer out within our network. Everything good here?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay, great. A couple of other things that can occur once a patient has been seen. Let's say the patient was prescribed medication that they need to take on a daily basis, or the doctor ordered them to do a task such as a dressing change on a wound. What the provider can actually do now is send a push reminder to this patient, select from which provider they're sending it from, the frequency of the reminder that this patient needs to receive. You can select the start date, the end date, the duration of this reminder, and let's say it is medication. Go ahead and indicate what medication it is. From the drop-down menu, you can choose the dosage, and you can request a report back from this patient. So once this reminder is sent, the patient's going to receive a notification telling them to log into their PHR, activate this reminder, and once that reminder is activated, they'll be receiving it either as email or text. And those reminders are bidirectional if this selection here is selected. So the patient can actually respond back to each reminder. And what that does, allows the practice to kind of monitor the patient and view a compliance list of all the tasks that they've assigned this patient to do, and at which time the patient completed or didn't complete their task. A couple of other functionalities, that we do have an entire system can be seen from the patient portal here. And keep in mind that any and all of these features can be turned on and off at any given time. So what you're seeing right now is, the ability to request appointment, verify insurance, patients to begin their registration, and actually other providers can come to this patient portal to refer their patients in. So let me show you, I can go ahead and turn on other functionalities that are available. And once I save this information and go ahead and refresh this patient portal, You can see here now, in addition to all the other features, patients can do a prescription refill request as well as send a message. Now going through each one of these features, and also keep in mind, all of these features are available to patients that already have a PHR. So they, at any time, can log into their PHR, select the provider, and utilize any of these functionalities as well. So the request appointment, when the patient clicks on this, they'll be given a form like this. They'll fill in their information, their reason for this appointment request. The scheduler that you see below here can be viewed in 3 different ways, and I can briefly show you that. Okay. The other ways that the scheduler can be seen is as follows. The first allows for the patient to choose either the first availability that is open for the practice, as well as they can choose, depending on the day, whether morning, midday, or afternoon, and they can pick up to 3 available time slots. The other version that the practice can set the scheduler to is to allow the patient to choose individual time slots that are available. And the third method the scheduler can be viewed would only allow the patient to choose the day that they can be seen. And so once this registration has been sent to the practice with all of the information completed out, anytime any information is sent over to the practice, a staff member can receive a notification indicating them to go ahead and log into their account here. They were able to view this registration request from their dashboard. They can click on this registration request, view it in detail, and if they want to go ahead and accept this registration request, they can go over to the status column here. Obviously, if there's a red check mark, it hasn't been accepted yet, so you can click it here, and it'll pull up a registration request. You can fill in any additional information that is missing and go ahead and send this registration request over to that patient that requested the appointment. Questions here?
Looks good.
Okay, just going over all of the other features. The Verify Insurance piece here basically lets the patient verify their own insurance for really just their benefit. This information doesn't get sent over to the provider. The only time that the provider will see the patient's insurance information is when they complete a registration or when they've are in the office and provide this information to the provider. The prescription refill request here works very similar to the request appointment. Patient will fill in the information, again, based on the zip code that either the computer pulls from the locations or they provided over here. We do geolocate the pharmacies within their area that they can choose from. They can describe their reason for this prescription refill. And on the provider end, they can just go ahead and log back into their system. And the reason, I keep getting kicked out of my system here is for security purposes. I'm going back and forth as a patient and as a provider here, so for security purposes, the system recognizes that there's multiple functionalities being used from different platforms, so it kicks me off